Knicks family, what's poppin'? Is your boy. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I didn't get a chance to say it to you yesterday, so happy Mother's Day to you. Obviously, I wasn't on yesterday because I was celebrating the special ladies that's in my life, and that's what we do on Mother's Day, man. So I had to make sure I gave my undivided attention to those ladies. But anyway, big win by the New York Knicks yesterday over the Los Angeles Clippers, and I just got to give a big apology to the New York Knicks. That's what I got to do. I got to give them an apology because in the previous show, I said, man, I got a feeling the Knicks could get obliterated against the Los Angeles Clippers. Because I felt like the Knicks were pressing a little bit. Felt like they were pressing and you know, and I felt like that pressure might have gotten to them. In the beginning of the game, man, I was like, oh my gosh, we were down 10-0. I was like, we about to get smacked. But then they came back. And then once they came back and they showed themselves that they could play with them, that was it. They just played strong basketball. Man, I just can't doubt this. That was my last doubt. That was my last doubt, Josh. That was my last doubt of this team. Who knows what these guys can do, man? The way that they play together as a team, they're so tough mentally. They just fight and they just battle. No matter what, they don't care. They don't care what anybody says, what anybody thinks. They fight and they battle. And that's what you love about them. You know what I'm saying? That's what you love about him. Julius Randle, I love the things that he did last night. The way that, he just showed a lot of toughness mentally last night. Because he easily could have been a little bit down on himself because he wasn't having the greatest of games. Right? He easily could have, faded away. But you know what? He did other things. He rebounded the basketball. What did he have? 14 rebounds last night? He got assists. And then most of all, he made those clutch buckets. And that's what stars do. That's what big time players do. You can have a bad game the entire game, but when it comes time to it, you can get buckets. And that's exactly what he did last night. Derrick Rose, of course, is playing like an all-star. He carried the team while Julius Randle wasn't scoring. Derrick Rose carried the team. Just an overall impressive win for the Knicks last night. And it's the exact type of win that they've needed. They needed to beat a good team at full strength, to shut up the crowd, to shut up all the noise about whether or not they can beat a team at full strength and all that kind of stuff. All these caveats to every win. This guy was out, that guy was out. Well, guess what? We beat a team that was at full strength, and we had two of our main bench players out and a starter in Mitch Robinson. That was just a huge win for the Knicks last night, and hopefully it carries over into the Lakers game tomorrow, and then the rest of the season. Hopefully we can sweep out the rest of the season. Let me get to the people we have on the panel. We got Josh, we got Nate, we got Steph. I want to get your reflections and thoughts on yesterday's game, and then we'll get into the question of the day. All right. Thoughts, your initial thoughts. Nate, I'll start with you, man.
Yeah, I was like you, man. When it got down 10-0, I was like, damn, here's another game we're going to get blown out. But the Knicks, the resiliency really started with Derrick Rose. When Derrick Rose came in, he started scoring buckets. And, once he got the flow and gets the buckets going, he started becoming facilitating. He started getting RJ involved, Reggie Bullock, Julius. So, Derrick Rose, in my opinion, turned this game around. Without him, the Knicks probably would have got shellacked in the game.
Yeah. Josh?
Salute the panel. Salute MBK fam. Salute the chat. Sim, what's going on? I mean, it just goes to show you how well this team is playing. I mean, they lost three straight games on the road on a tough road trip, and then they went into LA against a full strength Clippers team and beat them on their floor. After previously we lost to them when they came to the Garden early in the season. So it just, the narrative has quickly shifted for this team. I remember us talking about the Knicks being a good first half team. They'll come out early, they'll hit some buckets, but when the second half comes around, that's when they'll start to wear off and then they start playing a little bit more lackadaisical. Sorry. Oh, come back to me.
Okay. All right. Steph?
Before I get to yesterday's game, I want to say, even going into the game, even if the Knicks would have lost, I still would not have changed what I've begun to believe maybe 2 weeks ago, and that this is a very good team. Listen, you're going to have teams that are better than you. And if you lose, you're going to lose most of the time to teams that are better than you. And in my opinion, Phoenix, the Clips, probably better than the Knicks, right? So had they lost that game, I would not have changed what I believe. And that is that the Knicks are a very good team. That being said, to go into that game down to having lost the prior 2 games without Quick, without Burke, and pull out a win, it just reaffirms what I already know about this team. They're gritty. They're not going to quit. They're going to play as hard as they can. For the most part, you're going to have to beat them. Randle wasn't great initially, but, that being said, he wasn't forcing the issue either. I mean, if it was a double team, he would pass. I think he passed too much. He would get the ball in the post, turn into the key where he could take a shot over his guy and would pass it. Or he had a smaller guy, Jackson, on him, and he would pass it. And I'm like, those are shots you can take. Those aren't double teams. That being said, when we needed those clutch baskets, he came up with those clutch baskets. I've been proud of this team for a while now, and yesterday was just more the same.
Can I finish?
Yeah. Go ahead. Finish up, Josh. Finish up.
My bad. I'm sorry. I got this new thing I'm working with right here. So I was saying the narrative has quickly changed with this team, right? In the beginning of the season or like the first half, throughout the season when we're saying how the Knicks are a good first half team. They'll come out early, they'll hit some shots early, and they'll come up with a big lead early in the game. But in the second half, starting in the third quarter, they'll start to lose that and become more lackadaisical. Now that has kind of flipped, right? The Knicks will start off extremely slow. They don't, they'll play lackadaisical defense or whatever to begin the game, but they're so resilient that they'll come back in the second half. They'll start to show teams what they're about. And that's what we're seeing with this team. And it goes to show you that mental thing that we were questioning about this team, that's starting to kind of go away too. This team is really strong mentally, which tells me when they get to the playoffs, they're going to be formidable and teams better watch out because this Knicks team will not quit. So that's my biggest takeaway from yesterday's game because that's exactly what happened. We started off very, very slow. People blame Elfrid Payton. I don't know why, but we started off really, really slow and, we wound up winning the game. So big up to Tom Thibodeau and big up to the Knicks.
Yeah. Well, Josh, that's obligatory. It's obligatory now. You got to. You got to say, get Elfrid out of there. Da 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 da. And
he's not helping himself either, Sam.
But is it fair to say he's not playing well, though?
He's not playing well. He's not playing well.
He's only making $5 million.
Josh.
But he still isn't playing well, Josh.
I know. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying, I don't expect him to.
No. You could use that as an argument to say he's not playing up to the level of the other point guards, but you still got to be your best. Right. What I'm saying is that these past few games, he's not been his best.
Right.
He's not attacking the basket. He just doesn't seem. He seems off a little bit, and that doesn't have anything to do with how much money you make.
Yeah. He's not playing well. He's not contributing. Right now he's there to buy time till Rose gets in the game, and maybe he feels that, and so that's why listen. There's been times when in the season, and there was a point in the season where he was really, he was really going hard. He was attacking the basket. He wasn't always kicking out like you wanted him to, but he was playing decent. Now he's not. It looks like his confidence is just totally gone. I don't know if it's that or if it's something else. You know what I mean? But he's not playing well. That being said, I'm not going to change the lineups because we've got this far with the way that the lineup is, and it's going to stay like this. You know what I'm saying? Because if you change the lineup,
can't play those many minutes.
Exactly. You know,
sorry, Sam. Sorry.
You know, yeah. You know, you change the lineup now. You know, you start messing up everything else. You know what I'm saying? You got 4 games left to the season. You stick with it the way that it is. You ride it out into the playoffs. You know, and then whatever happens from there happens from there. You know what I mean? But
Hey, Sim, can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
No, I was just gonna say, I think one of also the biggest keys of the victory yesterday was the defense. I mean, we really turned up the defense, especially in the fourth quarter against Kawhi and Leonard. I haven't seen Leonard off like that in a while, and so some of it was his missed shots, but also too the Knicks were getting on him. You know, they weren't giving him anything easy. Same thing with Paul George, and so I credit the Knicks defense really tightening up in the second half. I don't know what Tibbs told him at halftime, but whatever he told them, he lit a fire under their ass, and they really started playing really hard-nosed defense the whole game.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me get a shout out here. CTP Pittman, thank you for the super chat. He said, big win yesterday. I'm still cheesing. I want to say some colorful colloquials for everyone who berated us and kept calling us inept when we fired Fizdale. Now they're all quiet. Yeah, you know what? Let them live and burn, man. Don't even worry about them.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Let them burn. We just, we'll focus on who we are and what we got going on because we have some good things going on, man. Big shout out to everyone that is in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, for the past few shows, the phone line, I don't know, there's something wrong with the network. And the new they updated the phone line and the servers and stuff like that, and it's been faulty ever since. So I'm working it out. So I apologize that I can't get you to call in, ladies and gentlemen. But I want to go back to this mental toughness thing, man, because I doubted coming into yesterday's game, right? I said, I thought the Knicks might get obliterated going into that game. I thought that the pressure was getting to them. I thought they were pressing a little bit when I watched them play, and they came out. Well, the first few minutes of the game wasn't strong, but they were in it. They still looked focused, and then they came out and they proved me wrong. And I'm glad that they proved me wrong. I'm happy that they proved me wrong. Trust me. I wanted to be wrong. I wanted to be very, very wrong, and I was very, very wrong. So the mental toughness of this team is, like you said, Josh, it makes them scary in the playoffs. It really does make them scary in the playoffs because they're not going to stop coming. They're going to keep fighting. They've been through. This season has been perfectly designed for them to step into the playoffs almost. With the way that, it started off that the Knicks had the toughest schedule in the league. And then after they went into the All-Star game and they had a winning record, right, for All-Star break, then everyone said, oh, they got the toughest schedule in the second half, and, everyone predicted their downfall. Right? There's no way they're going to get through this. And this 6-game road trip that they got to go on in the end is going to, that's going to make or break their season. It's done. Well, they're going to be no worse than 3-3 on this 6-game road trip, right? They just continue to blaze through, and the pressure that they've had to face all season long, I think has prepared them for the playoffs, because all season long they've been fighting these little battles. Right, they had the toughest schedule in the league to begin, and then they had some injuries, and they had to find ways to win through injuries, and then they began to have this stretch where they would get to 500, or they couldn't get to 500, right? So they had to battle to get to 500. Then they get knocked down, then they come back, right? Get to 500, get knocked down, then finally get above 500, get knocked back down. Right, and they kept coming back and kept coming back, and then they had to hit this road trip, right? After they had the winning streak, they had to hit this road trip. Not to mention they had the point in time where everyone thought that, including myself, or at least I didn't know if I thought it, but I was worried that they were mentally and emotionally tired.
Not this guy.
And then they go through a 9-game. Yeah, you're right. And then they go through a 9-game win streak. Right? And then they have this West Coast trip. And it's like everything has been preparing them for the playoffs. Not to mention Tom Thibodeau scouting and all of that kind of stuff. I'm anxious to see what they do in the playoffs. Very anxious, because this entire thing that they're on right now is uncharted territory for most of the players on this team besides Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson. The playoffs are going to be uncharted territory. So far, they've handled this well, and it looks like they'll be able to handle the playoffs well as too. Andy, what's your thoughts, man? Reflections on yesterday.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Sorry for being late. Yeah, yesterday I had the privilege to be on Legion of Knicks podcast and watch the game with those guys and comment on it. That was a fun time. I don't know if Guillermo's in the show. If so, shout out, bro. Yeah, you know, the game was good. I like these kind of games that we basically grinded out, and you know, it was looking, it's gonna be a tough game. Then it was, you know, it's a game of runs, right? But last night it was like, especially, I was thinking so much about if we're gonna lose the, you know, the lead at the very end, right? I was so curious if we're gonna lose, like fans say that we have this kind of thing that we know that the Knicks are good, but we're just expecting them to finally trip up and lose a game, right? And I was waiting for, maybe not waiting, but I was thinking if they're going to do it, because this is the team that could break the Knicks, you know, easily in the you know, last minutes of the game if it was a close game. But we didn't trip, we didn't fall, we pulled out the W, so I'm really happy about it.
Yeah. G-Man, what's going on, man? I know you got to be feeling good.
Oh man, look, you know how I feel right now. Is I have no words for it. Really, I have no words. So this game, to Andy's point, is one of those games that, you know, all those people that had something negative to say about the Knicks all season long, and they're just sitting there waiting for the other shoe to drop to say, "See, I told you." You can't say that now. You know what I'm saying? You have to change your whole narrative surrounding this basketball team right now. And the thing that I'm glad that happened was that when we played the Clippers, you had a healthy Kawhi, you had a healthy Paul George, and the point guard,
Rondo, Beverly, all of them was there.
Yeah, all of them was there.
Beverly and Rondo, everybody was in the building, right? But you know,
I had no answer for Rose.
None. Nobody could stop him. Nobody could stop him. And I think, you know, as we're moving forward, and I was just looking at my Twitter feed, and they said that LeBron is thinking about coming back tomorrow night, right?
Of course.
I knew that. Of course.
Of course, you knew that.
Yeah,
there was no doubt about that.
It's gonna happen. So I say all that to say this: the New York Knicks are back. So anybody that is trying to figure it out or wonder, you know, what's going on, or if this is a fluke, or if it's just, you know, the stars align to where we're able to win these games, take all that out of the equation, right? The New York Knicks basketball team is back, point blank, period.
Yeah, listen. I just want to comment real quick about, you know, the LeBron thing, you know, with him being, you know, coming back. You knew that was going to happen. Listen, the Knicks are in the media, right? Their name is in the media. LeBron, right? LeBron hasn't really been in the media, right? Because he's been hurt, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So that means LeBron needs to stamp his claim on this season somehow, some way.
Yep.
Right? That's LeBron. Yes, that is LeBron James. Listen. Don't tell me no, Josh. Don't tell me no. When Melo dropped 60 62, whatever he scored at the Garden. What did LeBron say? Oh, Melo just scored 60, whatever. Somebody else scored 60. I guess I got to do it. So then he wanted to score 60 points in a game that season. No, that is LeBron's MO. That is what LeBron does. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it, Josh.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it. That is what LeBron does.
Let me add something to it.
Go ahead.
All I'm saying is the Lakers are actually fighting for their playoff lives right now.
I know.
So it ain't just the fact that it's the Knicks. It's that. That's the reason why. They can't afford to lose any more games.
But they was fighting the game before when he was out, and the game before that when he was
out.
No, when he was out, but now he's playing. Now he's going to play. He has to come back and play. You know what I mean? I think that's more of a reason why, not because it's the Knicks. Come on, man. These narratives. Come on.
Look, LeBron wants to be part of this story. I don't care.
What?
Yes, LeBron wants to be part of this story, and he does. And either somehow, some way, he wants to be part of this story. That's LeBron's MO. That's what he does. You can't.
Good, bad, and different.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he wants to help the Lakers win, right? But he wants to be part of this story, so he wants to try to come back, off an injury. I know he's been back, a couple of games. He wants to try to come back off an injury. Okay, they just beat the Clippers. Now, I'm going to come back and try to drop 40 and have this iconic basketball game against the New York Knicks or something. That's what LeBron does.
Come on.
Don't tell me, come on, man. I'm telling you. He does stuff like that.
When they said he was going to be out, I was like, yeah, he's going to be out. But when it's time for them, he's taking these games off so he can be ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's coming back too soon, though, because I don't think he's going to be ready for this.
Tim, actually,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nate.
No, I was just going to say, I actually agree with Sim on that, because I think if LeBron were to come out on Tuesday and drop a triple-double, they'd probably talk more about LeBron's triple-double than they talk about the Knicks winning.
Oh, the Knicks got the best defense in the league. The Knicks are on fire. They just took out the Clippers. LeBron, he drops 30 points, 14 rebounds, 12 assists to put a stop to the Knicks. Yeah, that's exactly what he's looking for. That's exactly what LeBron is looking for. I didn't even want to hear it. Kev, what's going on, man?
Sam, don't call him Kev. That's a blueberry muffin. Look at it. Muffin outfit going on right now.
Oh, wow. Y'all got some of the crazy names.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm happy as a lark right now. We went into Staples Center and beat the first half of LA in the Clippers, and we haven't beaten the Clippers since 2010. So I'm ready for the sweep to get the Lakers up and out of here, man. It's the Knicks, man. That's what it's all about.
Hey, let's do it. It's going to be beautiful if we go in there and we sweep through L.A.
Yeah,
a big shout out to
absolutely.
Tim. Thank you for the super chat. He said Kawhi doesn't have many choke points on either end of the floor. However, coaches notice he struggles greatly against those with length like Gordon, Barrett, and Tatum. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna take your word for it, Tim. I'm gonna take your word for it.
I have to address something.
Yeah.
I have to address something.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
I had a conversation with somebody on Twitter yesterday about a certain point guard that I said I hate his game. I don't hate him personally. I hate his game. And I want to address that we can't keep getting off. The reason why I don't like his game right now is because we're getting off to slow starts. We're getting off to really slow starts, and he is not the player that I remember him seeing when he was playing for Orlando, when he was looking for everybody. Now he ain't looking for nobody.
Well, all I'm going to say is this.
And that's the problem. And the person I was talking about is Mr. Josh, a.k.a. Uncle Fulio.
Listen.
So I made sure I did. Wait, Sim. I made sure. I made a promise. That I wasn't going to call him out on any other show. But since he's here now, that's the one I want to debate. Now the floor is yours, Sim.
But all I'm going to say is we got 4 games left to the season. You're not seeing any changes. Get used to what you're seeing on the floor. Just get used to it. You ain't seeing any changes. You're going to see this all the way through the playoffs unless somebody gets hurt. Ain't no sense in even wasting any more breath.
But do you agree that we're getting off to slow starts?
The past 3 or 4 games, we have, yes. But there's been games before that where we've gotten off the hot starts.
It's a necessary evil. So you got to look at it like this. When you have our starting lineup, right? Tibbs is okay with what that starting lineup is because he's confident that if we have to revert to the bench or when the bench comes in, they're going to be able to catch up with wherever the starting 5 was lacking in. Now, in most situations, our hope and belief is that our starting 5 can get us in a position to where we're just excelling and the bench comes in and continues to perpetuate us to success. But, you know, I'm as hard on our starting point guard as anybody else. I will admit that. Mm-hmm. But, and however, I'm a realist to figure out that without him, we're not going to be doing what we're doing right now. So those 5, 6, 8 minutes, however long he plays, you gotta accept that, right? And you gotta know that when the bench guys comes in, when the second team comes in, they're able to continue that momentum. And we hope we keep moving forward and not regress into what we did again. Well, even when we played against the Nets and the Suns, the second unit was still good. You know what I'm saying? They came in and produced in a way that put points on the board.
Yeah, so, and listen. The game. Listen, basketball games go through runs, and you got to survive those runs. Those runs can come at the beginning. Those runs could come at the end. The Knicks had built a double-digit lead yesterday, and with Derrick Rose in the game, that lead dwindled down to nothing. Right? It happens.
I guess
like
what
that.
I'm getting at. Go ahead.
But it happens like that in basketball games. It's going to be ebbs and flows. We just, we played some good teams. They jumped out on us. We were able to come back. Let's put it like this. Let's look at the end point. Let's say you did start Derrick Rose, and you did jump out to a 10-point lead every game, which you won't. You're going to have games where you still go down 10 points. But then you come in. And you come in and you don't have Derrick Rose on the bench, you might lose the lead. And you end up with the same point. You understand what I'm saying? It's about the totality of the basketball game. And most of all, who's finishing the basketball game. That's what it's about. So at this point, you heard what Tom Thibodeau said. You heard what Tom Thibodeau said, right? Ain't no sense in changing now. We're not changing now.
It's not relevant. It's not failing. It's not broke. If it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it.
We're not changing now.
But see, the thing about it is kind of broke because, again, we're getting off to slow starts. That's what. And against the good teams, you don't want to do that. Correct?
So
against any team,
we did it yesterday.
Listen, against any team, you don't want to get off to a slow start, but inevitably, you're going to get off the slow starts in some games, and you might have stretches of games where you get off of slow starts. We've had stretches of games where we've got off the hot starts and lost. It's about the totality of the basketball game, and most of all, who's on the floor in the fourth quarter. Listen, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Getting off to a good start isn't important, because it is. It's important to get off to a good start to the basketball game, set the tone in the basketball game, however you're going to set it, whether it's offensively or defensively, and it's good. And you don't want to get off to a bad start. You don't want to have to start from behind down 10. You never want to do that, right? You want to at least be able to play the team. Okay, if you're down 2 points, 3 points, it is what it is, right? But I mean, but think about this. Before Derrick Rose got in the game, I believe the Knicks were leading before Derrick Rose got in the game last night, wasn't he? Because we came back immediately.
I don't think so.
We were down 10. We came back immediately.
Came back, yeah.
And I thought
were we G-Man?
Derrick Rose didn't come in until 5 minutes.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Derrick Rose came in at like 5 minutes, and I believe we had maybe a 4-point lead.
Right.
Okay.
At that time.
So, Young Simba says Elfrid Payton wasn't guarding Kawhi yesterday, and Kawhi scored the first 7 points for the Clips. So it's not always,
Yeah.
when we do get off to slow starts, it's not always because of Payton.
Facts. That's a good point, Steph. That's excellent.
Yeah, and it's just, and no one's saying that Elfrid Payton. Listen, Kyle Lowry is going to be here next year, so we can go ahead and rock with that whole point guard thing there. Kyle Lowry's probably on the way. No, I don't know. I'm joking, but I mean, can you imagine though? We have Kyle Lowry as a starting point guard and Derrick Rose backing him up. But that's
Man, look at here.
we'll focus on that later. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about we'll focus on that later.
I think we built
do
enough.
have a segment on that today, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
but
What I was going to say was, I think we built.
Go
Is
ahead.
anyone here?
Go ahead, Kev. Go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
Oh,
Say
okay.
what you're gonna say.
That's our way of trying to get to move on.
Nobody's here, Kev. Nobody's here. You talking into a bubble like you normally do.
What I was going to say was, I think we built enough, at least for this year, built enough of a solid reputation that people will want to come here now.
Well,
That's what I was going to say.
But hey, listen, looking at this season, the remainder of the season, we're gonna need all 15 guys at some point, somehow, some way, to win basketball games. So whatever they're doing right now, I just want them to continue.
Yeah.
I don't want them to try to fix anything right now.
Yeah, but the thing about it, Sam, what you said you wanted to get out of this 3-3.
Yeah.
And we got the win, the third win. I won't say unexpectedly. Well, yeah, I would say unexpectedly, because we thought we were going to beat Phoenix and then have our hands full with this, and it was quite the reverse, pretty much.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I think just looking at that Phoenix game real quick before we move on, that end of that third quarter is really what killed the game for the Knicks. I mean, we was right there. The end of that third quarter really killed the game. But I wanted to be at least 3-3, which we are. I'm hoping we can be 4-2, and then sweep the rest of the way down the stretch if we need to. San Antonio, Charlotte, Boston, and I think it's there for us to do it. I think we can sweep those teams out if we need to.
Do you think by the time we play Boston that that'll already be set pretty much?
Well,
Do you think by the time?
Yep, I said it before. I thought if we get the 40 wins by the time we play Charlotte, that it'll be locked up. I still believe that if we get the 40 wins, I think it'll be locked up. That means we win tomorrow, we beat San Antonio, then maybe we got to beat Charlotte, and it'll be locked up by that Boston game. A lot of work to do to get there. A lot of work to do to get there.
Right.
And of course, we have some of our conference foes that, they got some schedules coming up. They got some schedules coming up that, yeah. They got some. What'd you say, G-Man?
Yeah.
I was about to say that the guys that are below us, they're still fighting for their playoff seeds.
Yeah.
They're not laying down by any stretch of the imagination. They're still fighting.
No, it's going to be interesting the next couple of days.
Atlanta has the easiest schedule, right? Pretty much, Atlanta.
I don't know if they honestly.
Maybe you can say so.
I don't know if they have the easiest schedule, man. I'm going to look at it right now.
Beal is out though. Beal is out.
They got the Wizards twice.
Charlotte, Houston.
Yeah, and Charlotte and Houston.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Beal is out the next two games.
So taking a look at their schedules, you have Atlanta, who's 37-31, the one game behind the Knicks. They have Washington, Orlando, and Houston. Those two Washington games, I know Beal is out, but I think they're playing good basketball. They're playing really good basketball, and they can be really tough.
It can be had, you think? It could be tough.
I think they could be. Now, the only thing is, I don't know what Atlanta's record is versus Miami. Well, Atlanta must have a better record than Miami. So I'm kind of hoping for Washington to win tonight. I mean, for Atlanta to win tonight. I'm not lying to you.
Of course. Atlanta?
Yes, I'm hoping.
Yeah, if
I'm
we want to play Atlanta,
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why in a second. Miami is 37-31. They're one game behind the Knicks. They have Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, and Detroit left. And then Boston, they're 35-33. They have Miami, Cleveland, Minnesota, and the Knicks left.
And us. Yeah.
Right. So that's who we have left on the schedule. So let me tell you the reason why I kind of want Atlanta to win. Right. I want Atlanta to win, and let me get back to the group here. Well, the reason why I want Atlanta to win is because we own the tiebreaker over Atlanta, but we do not own the tiebreaker over Miami. It seems like Atlanta must own the tiebreaker over Miami, right? So if we continue to win, even if we drop one, but Atlanta continues to win, and if we have the same record with Atlanta, we own the tiebreaker. But if Miami leapfrogs Atlanta, and then we have the same record as Miami, then they own the tiebreaker.
Us.
Right, they leapfrog us. So I want to see. I wouldn't mind Atlanta beating Washington tonight or the next game.
Sam, but the thing is, if Miami leapfrogs us, we're still going to play them in the first round anyway because it's a 4-5 matchup.
Right, but I want to have home court advantage.
I would rather have.
I want to be in the fourth seed.
Okay, I get it.
I want to be in the fourth seed and have home court advantage.
Miami.
Yeah.
I see.
It's
gonna matter with Miami.
I'd just rather not play Miami. I'd rather play Atlanta. Period.
Oh, I agree. I agree with Josh. I totally agree.
Well,
I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying.
I think all of them are pick-em games. I don't think Atlanta is going to be an easy game by any stretch, an easy series.
No, I agree with Steph.
It's no matter who the Knicks play, it's going to be a
dogfight.
It's going to be a dogfight.
I agree with that.
Without a doubt, it's definitely going to be a dogfight. No matter who they play, it's going to be a battle. But yeah, I would much rather see Atlanta win. The more Atlanta wins, as long as they continue to win, then they should stay right there above Miami. And then as long as we continue to win, we're good. And even if we drop one, then we'd be tied with Atlanta. We need Miami. We need Boston to take care of Miami tomorrow night. We need Philadelphia. Philadelphia, they may be cruising in that number one seed. So, they may not be worried about winning basketball games at this point.
Are they locked up? Are they locked up for their top?
They're not locked. I don't know if they're locked up yet, but they're going to be locked up soon, very soon. Right? I think they have a 3-game lead above Brooklyn.
Oh, then Brooklyn's not catching them. Yeah,
right. I agree. By the time Miami gets to this game, Philadelphia might be resting. Milwaukee, they're still fighting for that 2-3 spot with Brooklyn, and it looks like that's going to go down to,
the wire.
Down to the wire. So they may still be battling for position. So Miami has at least 2 tough games versus Boston and Milwaukee, and maybe a tough game versus Philadelphia if Philadelphia is still playing their guys. And then Detroit, they should walk through Detroit. And then Boston, they got Miami, which is a tough one. You're almost not worried about Boston anymore. They're 35-33. I think if the Knicks win and Boston loses, or if the Knicks win 2, then the Knicks secure that 6th seed. Right? Boston is like 35-33. They look like they're going to be, on the outside looking in with those top 6 seeds. They have Miami, but then they have Cleveland, Minnesota, and then they play us the last game of the season. Right? So that's going to be, And as far as the Knicks, we have LA, San Antonio, Charlotte, and Boston. All right, San Antonio's not playing well. As a matter of fact, I think San Antonio's on a 5-game losing streak right now. Right? And then I don't know. I haven't checked. I have to check again. They might be on a 5-game losing streak. And then, Charlotte's not really playing that well either. So that schedule isn't as tough
Charlotte
as
it's battling for the play-in positioning soon.
Yeah.
4-6 over the last 10. They lost their last 1. So they were on an 0-5. They may have lost one, and then lost the next one.
Okay. Right. Because they're 32-35 on the season, and Charlotte, they're 33-35. So both of those teams, they're battling for their play-in lives right now.
I would love to see Boston and Charlotte. Series. Well,
I don't know if we're gonna see Boston or Charlotte. It's either gonna be Miami or Atlanta right now.
No, I mean a play-in. Boston, Charlotte play-in.
Just the game, right?
Yeah, just the game. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
The crazy part about this season has come to this, right? we talk about all these teams that you guys just mentioned. And the ironic thing is, at this point in the season, everybody wants to beat the Knicks. Just because we are the talk of the town. We are the people that are now, and the media can't go a session without mentioning in some shape, form, or fashion, they got to talk about the New York Knicks. I don't care what your take is. Well, you got to mention the Knicks. You have to.
The real test is going to come tomorrow when they're on TNT, when we hear that panel.
That's not really a test.
Well, I mean, I think we've been playing well enough to earn it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Them talking about us.
But I still think that those guys are gonna, use some narrative, towards us. So Barkley and
what's new?
And
what's
Shaq.
New? Who cares? What's new? Let them say what they're gonna say. I don't care. It don't matter. The Knicks keep on shutting up everybody, including me. Yeah. So who cares? Who cares?
What do you mean shutting you up? What do you mean shutting you up?
we all have our takes when we come on and we give our analysis as to what we would like to see from the team versus what the past performance was, right? But I think at the end of the day, what separates Knicks fans from the rest of the world is that we have faith in our team, right?
Yeah.
Some people are a little bit, out there more than others. Some are unrealistic to our expectations versus, being, that steadfast and keeping things even keel. But at the end of the day, this is where it's going to go. I'm telling you right now, once we win this game tomorrow night against the LA Lakers, people are going to go off the rails. I'm telling you right now, off the rails. So this is what's going to happen. Everybody's got a pod. Your viewership is going to go up. Everybody that's on Twitter, your retweets and all that's going to go up. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Because, look, when you build it, the people will come. Trust it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
But you'll still have those pessimists, too.
Hey,
we don't care about those.
Let them be it. Let them be it. Let them be it. Big shout out to Ryan Kyle. Thank you for becoming a member. And since you are a member, if you look in the community section on my YouTube channel, there's a link where you can join us in the chat.
Yeah.
And I do have a video that is ready. I just haven't released it to the members yet. I don't know why. I think there's a little something that I want to do with it, but I promise you it's going to happen.
Well, let's be real.
And I still have the Obi Toppin rookie cards I got to give away. I just have to.
The jersey. What about the jersey? What about the jersey?
No.
What about the jersey?
No.
What about the jersey?
No.
I tell you what.
No.
Take G-Man's jersey right there. Take G-Man's jersey right there and disinfect it and everything. And send it to me.
let me give out a couple of shout outs here. Ayub Matan, hopefully I said your name correctly. Thank you for the super chat. He said, I'm counting the days until Elfrid is off the team.
See what I mean?
You and a lot of people. Well, see what I mean? That's him. I mean, there's a lot of people. That don't mean, hey, listen, talk to Tom Thibodeau,
it seems
man.
Like the people
Talk to Tom. I'll just say that. Talk to Tom.
It seems like the people on this panel, my brothers and sisters on this panel, are okay with with Elfrid being the starter.
I am okay with the way that Tom Thibodeau is running the team right now. Next season, he'll have a new starting point guard, and we'll rock with it then. Right now?
Well, I don't know, because the report is that even though we got the Argentinian guy, that Tibbs is still might want to bring Payton back.
He might. It doesn't mean he's going to be the starter. He might want to bring him back. Doesn't mean he's going to be the starter.
Well, even if all right. Okay.
I'm impressed that Kev.
You don't even want him on the team, third string, huh?
Right. I'm on the team. Thank you, Chetnik. Thank you for the super chat. He said, Legion of Knicks podcast killed the broadcast yesterday. Big shout out to him. Yes, he did. I was checking it out while I was watching the game.
He didn't let me on the show towards the end. So I
wonder why. So here's the question. I'll start with you, Steph. Can the Knicks make a deep playoff run? It says at the top of the screen, can the Knicks make a playoff run? But can they make a deep playoff run? Can this team make a deep playoff run?
I don't think so. I think that when we run up against Brooklyn, Milwaukee. Who's the other team?
Philly.
Especially Philly.
Philly, yeah. Ooh.
I think that's gonna be difficult for us because the Knicks are a good team, but those other teams have the intangibles. Well, I want to say the intangibles, but the other teams have what the Knicks have as well, chemistry, except for Brooklyn. Brooklyn doesn't have great chemistry, but when your talent is the way it is, they may be able to overcome poor chemistry, right?
Right.
I would be ecstatic if it happens. I see the Knicks at most 6 games in the second round.
Okay, so but is that deep?
Oh, if that's deep, then yes, the Knicks can do that.
I don't know.
I'm thinking if you're talking about Eastern Conference Finals, unless there's a significant injury to a key player in the second round. I
mean, if
don't
you
see
come
it,
within
but I would welcome it.
Let's say you take a team 7 in the second round. Is that deep in the playoffs, Josh?
No.
Okay.
Eastern Conference, the conference finals to me is deep in the playoffs. That's on the doorstep of the finals. To me, conference finals is where I would consider deep. And can the Knicks make a conference finals? I believe they can. This team, the way they play, people are going to talk about talent or whatever the case may be, but it's going to depend on 2 things. It's going to depend on matchups and how we play. If the Knicks are able to impose their will against other teams and make them uncomfortable, I believe the Knicks can sneak. Definitely the first playoff series if we lock up the 4th spot, but we definitely can win a second round playoff series too. Heck, Denver did it last year against a team that was much better than them. You know what I'm saying? Much deeper than them. You know what I mean? So definitely the Knicks can definitely make a deep playoff run. We just got to see who they match up against.
Yeah. Unfortunately for this team, matchups mean a lot. Matchups mean a lot. Legion of Knicks said if we run into any teams with off-ball movement and outside hitters or any kind of inside-out game, it could be trouble. I agree. We have trouble with those type of teams that really move a lot. That's the reason why I get so worried about Atlanta, right? Because they really move a lot. You've seen the way Trae Young and Capella were eating us up the last game. That bothers me because you've seen it in Phoenix as well, right? Phoenix, Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, they were killing us on the screen and roll. It was bad. Trae Young and Clint Capella was doing the same thing. The Atlanta Hawks don't have the same type of defense. Their defense is a lot different than the Phoenix Suns. And then they got people that can shoot the ball. They can shoot. You got cutters. You got slashers. They had some plays with a lot of ball movement and that type of stuff. Right. And some of those things do, give the Knicks trouble. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they can't beat the Hawks. I fully believe we can beat the Hawks. I'm just saying it gives the Knicks trouble.
Sim, you know what I mean? So I agree with you. I think my concerns for the Knicks team in the playoffs is going to be on the other side of the ball. Can we be able to score? And the reason why I said what I said about Miami is because Miami's defense is suffocating, extremely suffocating. I believe the Knicks, they can be able to lock down some teams and they can be able to defend some of those teams that, to play the inside-out game or whatever the case may be. But if we can't score, I think that's where we're going to have the issue. And I think Miami, the reason why I bring up Miami in those matchups is because Miami, we don't want to face them in the first round because that might be a first round exit.
Listen, I agree with you. I believe I didn't want to face Atlanta or Miami. First of all, I'll face anybody. I'll face anybody. We're going to be in the playoffs. I'm going to face anybody. Right. And I'm happy to do it. But, if you're talking about strategy and matchups and stuff like that, for me, Atlanta and Miami were 2 teams that I was like, I didn't want to deal with them. I was okay with Boston. I think we can beat Boston.
I think so, too.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think we can beat Atlanta, too. I think we can beat Miami, too. It's just going to be a struggle.
Right.
Like, that's going to be a struggle. And playing Miami in the first round, if you get past them, you're going to be tired because, especially if it goes down into a deep 7-game series, you're going to be tired coming into that second round matchup because it's going to be a battle. You know what I mean? Against Atlanta, it may not be that much of a battle. I mean, it's going to be a battle and it's going to be, a hard fought series, but not the kind of physical battle it's going to be against Miami. You know what I mean?
And they got good paint presence with Bam Adebayo.
Right.
I feel like the Knicks, they're going to be a liability in the paint. Like if we face a team with guys who can really bang inside, like Miami with Bam Adebayo or Philly with Joel Embiid, I think that's more of a disadvantage for us. But to me, Atlanta, they don't have as much
But
of
they got Capella now. He's not a banger.
I'm not sleeping on him. I got you.
Okay.
I'm not sleeping on him. I'm saying the other two teams, you know what I mean? And Boston doesn't have that much of a paint, so I don't really fit him.
Yeah, Boston doesn't have anything in the paint. They don't have anything in the paint. They just got two wing players that are dynamic. Not just, but they got two wing players that are dynamic. And, of course, they've been in the playoffs. You know, they got that playoff experience. Andy, what do you think, man? Can we go deep? What is deep in the playoffs to you, and can we go deep?
Yeah, you know, I think deep is the conference finals. And I think that might happen only if we get really, really lucky. And I mean like injuries to opposite players and stuff like that. But I'm going to be happy if we pass the first round. I'm going to be ecstatic because, you know, I was never seeing this, you know, before the season happening. So I'm going to be totally happy. I can bet my house that we are not going to get swept in the first round. Tom Thibodeau, if he has to wear a jersey and get on the court, he will do that, and we ain't going to get swept. I bet you that. So, you know, no matter who. But like you guys were talking about opponents, I think the worst matchup for us is definitely Miami. And it's not only based on the games that that we had versus them in the season. I think they, like Josh said, their defense is really suffocating. They can basically play those matchup defensive schemes on Julius Randle that he doesn't have an answer for it yet. Yeah. You know, other teams can double him. They can, you know, try to put smaller guys on him. Miami has that kind of a matchup defense. You know, the doubles come from way other sides that he's not accustomed to that yet. And if you know, take out Julius Randle for the Knicks in a series, that might be ugly.
That half-court trapping, nothing to play with.
Yeah.
That's what teams are going to do. They're going to have to decide: are we going to take out Randle, or are we going to guard the other ones and give Randle his? It's interesting to see what they do. But the other thing about Miami is they've taken RJ out of the game.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh, that's no doubt, right? RJ was non-existent in those games.
Yeah.
And he can, and Steph, just to add, he can't defend those fast, you know, off-screen guards. Those Duncan Robinson type tile heroes, those guys run off those screens so fast that he can't, you know, catch up with them. So that's a really bad matchup for us.
Both of them, I think, are bad, but for different reasons between Atlanta and Miami.
Yeah. And the thing is, both of those, it looks like we're going to be playing one of those two teams. My preference between the two is Atlanta. Right. My preference is Atlanta between the two. Yeah. Right. But it looks like we're going to be playing one of them. G-Man, I'm looking at, you know, I'm looking at Cornerstone, the crossover Cornerstone, the cornerstone of the crossovers, shaking his head. You know, I'm gonna get to you, man. I'm gonna get to you. G-Man, what's your thoughts, man? Can we make a deep playoff run?
So I think it's going to be like everyone else on the panel has already stated, right? I think it's going to be situational. It's going to depend on who we play and how healthy that team is going to be when we play. Miami, out of all the teams that we could potentially face, is the last team I would want to play, because I watched Miami play yesterday, and as I'm watching the game, I'm thinking, you know, it's almost emblematical of me watching the Knicks play basketball right now. You know what I'm saying? They have that level of intensity, regardless of who's on the floor. Everybody knows what needs to happen, regardless of what your role is. And when you get into a team like that, that could be a problem. For the Knicks, I think that we get past the first round. For me, what means a deep playoff run would be making the Eastern Conference Finals. Can we do that? My Knicks mind says yes, we can. We can make that run. But my realistic mind says, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, let's talk about us not believing and being pessimistic. Now what?
But look, listen. It's a difference between being pessimistic and realistic, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that my hope and wish for a successful season for me, we're already successful right now, right? But I truly believe, and we don't know who we're going to face. We just don't know. You know what? Mr. Blueberry Muffin over there going to sleep.
I've never seen somebody go through so much anguish.
Look, I love
The Knicks are going to the finals, right, Kev?
Let Kev tell it. And guess who the star point guard would be in Kev's mind? Frank Ntilikina.
Right,
Yeah.
Frank leading us.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to entertain.
First of all, it would not.
Right now.
It would not. It would not.
Be quiet. Hush. So to your answer, Sam, to answer your question is this. I think we can make a deep run. I think we will make it past the second round, regardless of who it is. And
First or second?
Second. We're going to make it past the second round.
So we're gonna make conference finals.
We're going to be conference finals. That I've always said.
Then it's a deep
So
one.
I've always said that.
Are we gonna get past the first round, or are we gonna get past the second round? You sure of?
Well, okay. Let me make it clear. So
Yeah, please make it clear. Please make it clear. Please make it clear.
There's no misunderstanding. The New York Knicks will make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. How about that?
Oh, okay. All right.
That's where I'm going right there.
Okay. Cornerstone.
Kev? Yeah. Crossover. Go ahead.
Crossover.
Blue.
Yeah, I'm crossing over because I cannot believe the wimp clause that I'm hearing from everybody on this panel. I cannot believe it. Are you guys Knicks fans? I mean, my God. Listen, my take, we are going to the NBA Finals. That's my deep thought. And we are going to win the whole thing. The reason why I say that. The reason why I say that.
Okay.
The reason why I say that.
Break it down and give us the intricacies of the game.
The body of work that we've put in this year, and we still got 4 games to go. The body of work that we have put in, we've conquered every obstacle that has taken place. Yeah, we've had some tough losses, but after every obstacle that we've gone through this year, the body of work is what matters. And at the head of that is Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau is going. You guys are selling him very, very little.
We're not.
You're not giving him enough. You're not giving him enough credit because his preparation. You guys don't think that his preparation for this playoff run, he's not going to have that? Wait. No. Nobody talking right now, all right? Because I listen to everybody. Even though I was snoozing through G-Man's soliloquy, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, he's going to have a game plan for Trae Young and the rest of them. He's going to have a game plan for Miami. As long as you stick to the game plan, you will be successful. I can
have a game plan
that's not.
Wait.
All right.
Does anybody remember?
Kev is in his feelings right now. He's sensitive right now. Kev is really
serious.
sensitive right now. Go ahead, Kev. I'm sorry.
Anybody remember that Detroit Piston team that didn't give them a chance?
Yeah.
No, they were supposed to go to the finals
and not beat the Lakers, right?
But they were supposed to go to the finals.
The Lakers. Why can't we be that same play? Why can't we be that same way?
I don't think anyone is saying.
I think we need a few more pieces.
Kev, I don't think anybody is saying that we can't.
Listen. If we go and win these NBA Finals, I want everybody on this panel to bow to me. That's all I'm asking.
Right, well, that's not happening.
Finals, I'm gonna send you an Obi Toppin.
Yeah, I'll buy you a jersey.
Hey, Jared Hall, we know that's not going to happen for you because if you bow, you won't be able to get back up. So I know that's not happening and everything. All I'm saying is that it could happen. By the body of work that I've seen out of this team, and no, I don't want Frank. I mean, I'm not expecting Frank Ntilikina. I'm expecting Frank Ntilikina to probably get a little minutes, very little. All right. My starting point guards, unfortunately, will be Elfrid Payton and Derrick Rose coming in. All right. And we haven't even talked about Mitchell Robinson coming back. We haven't even talked about that. if we make this deep playoff run.
So can I get in a little bit? I don't want you to get mad at me. Just get in a little bit.
Ladies first. Stephanie, you go ahead.
I mean,
I'm looking right at this camera right here.
I just had a matchup question. If nobody gets hurt, if we had to play Philadelphia.
What's the answer for Embiid?
We have we have four centers with six personal fouls. Anybody could play this
throws. Kev, that's 40 free throws.
He's got to make them chill. He's got to make.
He'll make half of them.
Like 80. He's shooting like 80 something from the free throw line.
He'll make at least half of them.
Listen, I don't make it tough on the dude. Make it tough on him. I'm not selling our team short.
I don't think.
Call me homer. Call me whatever.
So
it's going to be a tough. But it would be tough to win that.
So Kev, let me jump in. I don't think anyone's trying to sell the team short. It's just that it's as you get deeper in the playoffs, the teams have, the talent level gets a lot higher. You know what I mean? So now it becomes very difficult to stop Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and those guys. Okay, the talent level gets a lot higher. Or if you talk about the Nets with Kyrie, Harden, and KD. You know what I mean?
They have no chemistry. You want to bring them up. They have no chemistry.
I get that. I get that. But the talent
is that.
Yeah. When the talent is that high, because the game is going to be close. And so when it gets close, no one is stopping either one of those three. When the game is close.
You must have forgot who the hell Kevin Durant is. You must have forgot.
Yeah, Kev. All I'm saying.
Who is he? Who is he? He's just another player.
Kev.
Did they forget who Julius Randle is? Do they forget who Julius Randle is?
They're just learning who Julius Randle is. They're just learning who Julius Randle is.
Consistency behind him. That's the concern I have going.
If the Brooklyn was coached by Tom Thibodeau, I would agree with all y'all. But they're not. They're coached by freaking Steve Nash. And with Mike and with
you gotta have enough defenders to be able to defend.
Where are their defenders? Where are their defenders?
No.
That team is Jeff Green. That's it.
Okay, Kev.
Crazy. I don't care.
Okay, you bugging, Kev.
But everybody on this panel, if it happens, I don't want to hear a thing.
So Kev, listen.
I want you, Sim. I want a Mitchell and what's the jersey's name? I want an authentic John Starks jersey from you.
Okay.
I want an authentic John Starks jersey from you.
I'll call John Starks and tell him put it in the mail. Listen. Listen, I'm not saying that it's not possible. Obviously it's possible, right? During the playoffs, it's possible. You know what I'm saying? But it gets really tough to, as you beating a team one time, beating a team 7 times. I mean, 4 times.
At least four times.
Four times is, in a series when you get a chance to, change your schemes up, do this, do that. It's very tough. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, I just don't know if the Knicks have the talent to match up with the Milwaukee's or Philadelphia's. If we meet Milwaukee in the second round, I think we can take them out.
Yeah,
I think we can beat Milwaukee.
Yep.
But
so
Brooklyn and Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? It's tough. It's tough. And the issue
so
is,
are you going to go into that game thinking you're going to lose?
No.
All right, then. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's not all you're saying. You're saying you're going to the NBA Finals and winning it all.
I say the NBA Finals and win it all. That's just who I am.
You're saying a lot.
Hey, listen, Jared Talk, keep quiet, all right? I'm the one that's talking, all right? Keep quiet. All right? That's who I am.
And here's the thing. So in the second round, I would want to play Milwaukee. We're probably not going to play Milwaukee.
Probably won't.
Because if we're the 4th seed and we win, that means we play the number 1 seed, which is either going to be Philadelphia or Brooklyn, and probably Philadelphia, which is going to be tough, unless Washington gets in there and they upset the 1st seed. Then we'll play, I guess, whoever the 2nd seed is.
All right, let me ask you this.
So,
let me ask you this. When we won those 54 games, and we were supposed to be playing Indiana, Did anybody on this panel think that we were going to lose to Indiana?
It's not about thinking.
I wasn't
It's
sure
about
what we
going
were
out
going to
there
do.
and executing and actually winning the series. It's not about what we think. You could go in there thinking you're going to win.
In 99, did y'all think we were going to the NBA Finals in 99?
Here it is. I'm telling you.
Actually, I did.
asking.
Actually, I did. I did. Because the Knicks, although they were the 8th seed, right, they had dealt with a lot of injuries and all, almost like the Lakers right now. The Knicks back then, right? The Knicks had dealt with a bunch of injuries and all this kind of stuff. And Miami, I always knew we could beat Miami because we beat Miami every year when we were in the playoffs, except for one time. And that's because, everybody came off the bench and got into a bunch of fights and got suspended. Right? But we always beat Miami in the playoffs because the matchup was just there. Right, I felt like we were a team that could go to the NBA Finals that year when everybody was healthy, and we got healthy for the playoffs, similar to what the Lakers, the situation that the Lakers are in now. So yes, I did think that we could go to the NBA Finals that year.
Okay, so again, just to put a bow on this, we'll agree to disagree.
Wrap it up.
So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people thinking that we'll just get to the Eastern Conference Final, and one person thinking that they'll go to the NBA Finals and win it all. So we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Well, the only one that said Eastern Conference Finals was Geritol. So there you go.
I think we could get there. I think that I'm not like you asked about Indiana, right? With Indiana, I wasn't thinking either way. I knew that we could beat them. I knew that they could beat us. And so now you just got to play the basketball games.
Did you really? I mean, nobody else did. I mean, they had the home court. They had the home court.
No, we had home court.
No, Indiana had home court.
We had to win the game that Roy Hibbert blocked Carmelo Anthony. If we won that game, we were coming home for a game 7.
I have everything on this card right here. I have everything on this.
Well, your card is wrong, bro. Your card is wrong.
I have everything because I want to bet. They had the home court. It was on my wedding day. It was on my wedding day.
Well, no wonder why you don't know, Kev. No wonder why you don't know. It was your wedding day, so you should have been focused on your wedding.
In 99, please somebody go to Google and
talking about 99.
We're talking about Indiana.
Yes.
Indiana.
Which year are you talking? Which year?
99.
Oh, he's talking 90.
99.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about.
In 99, we were the 8th seed, so we never had home court advantage.
Right. He's
in
talking
2013, we were the 2 seed, so we did.
Yes, in 2013.
I apologize.
I'm gonna tell you guys, this is what happens when you entertain the blueberry shortcake over here. This is what happens when you let him take you down that rabbit hole.
Oh, shut up,
Listen to him.
Shut up, Skillet. Shut up, Skillet. Shut up, Skillet. Anyway.
I was going to move on to one last thing real quick.
It's okay.
But you were right. You were right.
I did want to get someone in the chat. Stevie Clark, he said, bro, this is a Knicks channel, but the hosts don't think we got a chance in the playoffs. When did I ever say that?
Who said that?
Just because we're not going to win it all doesn't mean we don't have a chance.
Because I'm not saying we're going to win it all, that means we don't have a chance. Who said that?
Oh my goodness!
Just
because there are people that have my way of thinking.
Oh yeah, that don't mean it's the right way.
For real, Lord bless him. Good Lord, boy.
I mean, I'm just saying. I think Philadelphia and Brooklyn are very, very tough matchups for us if we have to play them in the second round.
To be the best, you've got to beat the best. To be the best,
you're right. You're right. You're right. You got to beat the best. I'm not saying we can't, but it's very, very tough. And there's a very good chance that we don't get out those second round if we play either one of those two teams. That's all I'm saying.
This road trip was supposed to kill us. And what's up?
It has nothing to do with the playoffs besides implications and where we're seeded. It's not a series.
Hey, listen, as long as we have Tom Thibodeau as coach, anything is possible.
How many finals he got to,
Sam?
What'd you say, Josh?
How many finals did Thibodeau get to?
Anyway.
Well, he got the Eastern Conference Final.
Last thing, guys. I got 4 minutes. I got 4 minutes, and I got to get out of here. So the last thing, so after the Knicks win the NBA championship this year,
That's right. That's right.
After they win an NBA championship, we're gonna need a starting point guard.
Yes.
Starting point guard.
Yep.
According to Ian Begley, Kyle Lowry will be on the Knicks' radar this offseason. Now, Kyle Lowry is someone I've been championing Kyle Lowry all season long. That I think Kyle Lowry, and I don't want to say he can do exactly what Chris Paul did with the Suns, but at least something similar with the Knicks. I believe he has the makeup, the mental makeup. He's been to the NBA Finals. He's been deep in the playoffs. You know, he has some of the character, some of the integrity, the hard work that I think fits with this group perfectly. And, you know, as a point guard for the next 2-3 years, I think he would be perfect on this team. And then you have Derrick Rose coming off the bench, backing him up. You got 2 starting point guards in your starting lineup and coming off the bench. I don't know if Kyle Lowry is considering or thinking about the Knicks. I know he's probably going to be looking to be close to Philadelphia since he'll be retiring soon. But I would think that he would at least hear from his agent, like, okay, what are they talking about there? And look at the Knicks as a last chance to get another championship. You know, as long as the Knicks add some more pieces. What are you guys' thoughts on Kyle Lowry?
I'll go first.
Okay, good.
So I think the last thing that you said in your soliloquy is important, because if Kyle Lowry is looking to win a chip, he's going to go to Philadelphia, in my opinion. I think that at this point in the Knicks, where we are right now as a team, in his mind, if I'm Kyle Lowry, I'm thinking, well, I'm sitting here waiting to see what improvements or what pieces you add and what improvements you make to the team. Whereas if I'm looking at a Philadelphia team, they're pretty much 1 or 2 pieces away from doing, you know, from winning the chip based on how they finish the season this year. And I think all this is relative to, you know, kind of how the season ends and how the teams perform. But from where I'm looking at teams this year, if I'm Kyle Lowry, I'm leaning more towards Philadelphia. That's my hometown. I would love to have him on the team. I think he would be a good piece, a good addition. But in his mind, I think that he's thinking I would probably be closer to a chip going to the Sixers.
Okay. Steph, what do you think?
This is based on the fact that I think the way this team is performing and the way Randle is performing, our rebuild, or whatever you want to call it, is accelerating, right? And so we have to build a team, in my opinion, that's based on Randle's timeline, not the young people's timeline, Randle's timeline. I don't think the Knicks are as far away as people think. But I do think that, you know, a player here or there will definitely help bring us into championship contenders. I believe that. I don't think we're like 2, 3, 4 years away, because in my mind, I'm not waiting for quickly 2, 3, 4 years. I'm not waiting for Obi. Those people, if they're on the team, they're contributing, you know, to the team, but they're not people I'm counting on game in and game out. Lowry, if we can get him, the Knicks are a much better, even if it's just 2 years. Like people say, get a young point guard for what? How long is it going to take a young point guard to get out of the draft, to get to the point where they can lead this team, considering Randle's window? Mm-hmm. We got to get Lowry for 2 years. Now, if you want to, I don't know if we have enough money to have a Schroeder or somebody else, a Ball or whatever behind him that we're kind of bringing up in those 2 years, fine. But it can't be a very, very young point guard. The Knicks are past that. I would love Lowry on a 2-year deal. He upgrades this roster significantly. He has championship experience. He's a Tibbs type of player in my experience. And Randle can go back to just playing his position. You know, it takes some pressure off of him. I would love it.
Yeah, I agree. I would love it. And I seen someone say in the chat, oh, Derrick Rose backing up Kyle Lowry, or, you guys like bad point guards. It's not even the matter of who's starting or who's backing it. All right, start Derrick Rose if you want to. So what? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's about you have Kyle Lowry and Derrick Rose as a 1-2 punch at the point guard spot. It's about that. It's not about, okay, yeah, I did say Kyle Lowry starting. Reason why I said that is because Derrick Rose is okay with coming off the bench.
He said it. He said it.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean, like, I feel like that would be a very a dynamic duo. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I feel like it'd be a dynamic duo. Anybody else want to jump in there about Kyle Lowry?
I do. So I think from a basketball standpoint, there's no question Kyle Lowry makes his team better. He's definitely an upgrade at the point guard position. He has championship pedigree. And similar to what Chris Paul did in Phoenix, I feel like Lowry can have that same impact on us. I think the question is going to be about money. I think that's what it's going to come down to. Right now, Kyle Lowry's on a $30 million contract, $30 million per year. So if you look into, I think Randle's extension will kick in after, but you have to be able to sign Lowry to, I feel like, at least $30 million per season, if it's for 2 or for 3 or whatever. So that's $30 million right there. Plus, you got to sign some of the guys that bring them back on this roster, which they're not going to come back cheap, right? Derrick Rose is not going to come back for, $7, $8 million, I believe it is. So he's not going to come back for that. I believe he's going to come back for more. Same with a lot of these guys coming off the bench, Alec Burks and things of that nature. So
I think our capologist will handle that. I think our capologist will handle all that. On the real.
So from a basketball standpoint,
able to pay him under the table though.
From a basketball standpoint, it definitely makes the most sense in the world. But the Knicks got to figure out how they're going to make it work financially. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think they can. They're going to have a lot of money. They're going to have a lot of cap space this summer.
Well, if a lot of guys don't come back, a lot of rotation guys specifically don't come back. That's the part that people, all these rosters.
By who's our best players. You're not going to be able to keep everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the only one that's going to walk. I think the only one that's probably going to walk is Alec Burks. I think everybody else is going to, sign back with us. I think he's
everybody else.
I mean, let's put it like this.
I think they want Lawrence. I think they want Noel. And I think they want Bullock.
Let's put it like this. They paid everyone. I mean, obviously people are going to get raises, right? But they paid players this year and they still had $15 million left over.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And people, like I said, they're going to get raises. So, that's one thing. But also you're going to have Frank Ntilikina maybe coming off the books. Right?
It is what it is.
I mean, seriously. Right? Like maybe Elfrid Payton coming off the books.
Yep.
It is what it is. Yeah.
They, obviously they got to make room for draft picks coming in. Yep. So we'll see what happens with those draft picks. Facts. If they decide, listen, they're not keeping all 4 of them. You can guarantee that. The second round picks are not guaranteed, but the first round picks are guaranteed. I don't think that they're going to spend their money on 2 first round draft picks this year. Maybe one of them is getting moved.
And they might package Knox too. So
And that's a good point, because a lot of people don't think the Knicks should make trades. I think this front office is looking to make a trade because of money, because of the financial situation of it.
Yes,
so they might sacrifice a couple pieces that are important in this rotation right now in order to have money to bring other players in. Yep. So that's might be something we look forward to. And young
don't be surprised.
Yeah. So and I seen someone say, good thing the front office isn't this panel or something like that. I don't know why people are hating on Kyle Lowry. Look, the Raptors didn't have a great season.
It's Geritol's fault. It's Geritol. No, it's on Geritol.
That's why
it's on Geritol. No, it's on Geritol's fault. That's what it is.
Listen.
Sam, you got a super chat.
Yeah, I got you. Listen, Kyle Lowry this year, ladies and gentlemen. And I know the Raptors, not a great team this year. 17 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists.
I hate him so much. I hate him.
Right?
I hate him. I hate him so much.
He shot 40% from the 3-point line this year, 87% from the free throw line. He's a tried and true vet. You're not asking him to come in and be an all-star. It's the reason why you have a guy like Kyle Lowry and Derrick Rose, because now they can split those minutes, and it could be, Kyle Lowry averaged 35 minutes a game last year.
Yep.
Him and Derrick Rose can split 48 minutes.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And still only get 24 minutes a game per player.
Productive
You know what I mean?
minutes.
Yeah. So you know that's how
something
you that's how you add depth to your team. And big shout out to G, man. Thank you for the super chat. He says, Sim,
Don't you read that. Don't read that. Don't read that.
get Smeggle or Smurf.
Smeagol.
You know,
You
Smurf
are.
crossover. You know, crossover Smurf. Get crossover Smurf Kevin Nanny so that he does not go out in public in that shirt. I'm actually feeling the shirt a little bit, Kev. I like to wear plaid. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I like to wear plaid.
Chump.
Anyway,
Chump. Tampa Bay chump.
ladies and gentlemen, I gotta get out of
sign
here.
us out of here, man.
I
Sign us
gotta
out
get
of
out of here. Let me get to practice. We'll see what the Knicks decide to do on Kyle Lowry, ladies and gentlemen. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I appreciate you all. Thank you for your time, and I'll be on tomorrow for the game preview. Really looking forward to it, man, and want to get this win against the Lakers, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful. I'm out.
Peace.
Peace.
G-Man, I'm going to get a 2x4 to your head. Literally. I'm going to get a 2x4